Shifa Yousafzai is a renowned presenter and Pakistani journalist with the leading TV network Hum News. I'd like to welcome Shifa to the mother of all talk shows. Shifa, thank you very much for joining us. I tried to convey in my monologue the seriousness of the juncture at which we stand with Imran Khans' warning and prophecy, you might say, yesterday in Sialkot that his life was now in serious danger. What can you tell us about the atmosphere that now prevails?
Thank you, George. Good evening. Thank you for having me. This prophecy or the announcement that Imran Khan last night made from his Sialkot Jalsa is not something new or is not something that the authorities or law enforcement agencies did not know about. I would let your audience and viewers know that when Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Imran Khan's party, was having their Jalsa in Lahore, the government of the day, which is EMLN, that is working under the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, that government and the local administration suggested and advised Imran Khan not to come to the Minar-e-Pakistan, the Iqbal Park, where that Lahore Jalsa was taking place, because there were severe, grave threats to Imran Khan's life. So this was the stance given by the government, and this was the warning given by the government to Imran Khan that day. But Imran Khan decided that he is not going to stay at his Islamabad residence, and he will go to Lahore and address the public directly from there in person. So this is not something new, but this idea of making a video and naming all those people he believes or he has reason to believe are behind the plot to assassinate him is very different and very unique, but is very unfortunate also. People are very disturbed. Everybody right now, everybody in Pakistan, not just the party of Imran Khan or his followers or his voters, but people from the government, people from the law enforcement agencies, every single person belonging to any institution is disturbed, is, his voters are also disheartened because they voted for him. His government was in a way ousted by using unfair means, by floor crossing, and when his party approached the courts did not accept their petition at first, and then it was about the speaker's ruling that the courts did not accept their petition, saying that the working hours were over. But then 63A, the clause of the Constitution, the section of the Constitution which clearly defines what will happen to the floor crossers or to those who will violate their oath and party line while voting for vote of no confidence or vote of confidence. So that case or that interpretation should have come from the Supreme Court in time. After everything was done, they waited for it for so long. So everyone in the country is very disturbed. But I must also tell you that in the video that Imran Khan was mentioning that he has made, and he has named people who he believes that will be behind his assassination attempt or assassination plot, those names are not new, or those names are not being taken in that video for the first time. Half of the content of that video is already out on the public record. For example, I'll tell you that he names openly Shehbaz Sharif, the Prime Minister, and Nawaz Sharif, the former Prime Minister, and the elder brother of the Prime Minister today, that if something happens to me, these two brothers are going to be responsible. Then there is only half of the content which is not out on the public record, but then about that content also, public knows. I must assure you that public knows all those names that are not yet been brought out in the public domain, but public still knows who he means when he talks about there are other names. There are these two names which he mentions time and again in his jalsas and in his political protests and in his speeches and in his press conferences. But then there are a few other names which are not yet brought out in public domain, but then public knows about them too. So, and I last night when this speech, he delivered this speech, I have seen people commenting and tweeting that may we never get to see that video. So there were people who were praying for his life. There were people who were also very concerned because last night in Sialkot Jalsa, there was a certain, there was some miscommunication probably, or there was some kind of issue with the venue of the protest where it was all held. So they, at the last moment, at a very short notice, they changed from one venue to another in Sialkot. So the police protection was not given, and given his status, given his, his public, the position that he has held as the Prime Minister of the country, he should have been provided with the foolproof security. If you also have the reason to believe, as I told you, that in Lahore, Jalsa government was suggesting him not to go to the Jalsa venue and address public via video link from his Islamabad residence. So if you also have certain reports, and if you have reasons to believe that he shouldn't be coming out to public rallies, then you should have provided him with the, foolproof security that a former head of the state deserves.
Well, this dead man switch, which, as you say, has given rise to a great deal of speculation, some of it predictable, but other parts of it not, which will be triggered in the event, God forbid, of his assassination, is, of course, if I can mix the metaphor, a sword of Damocles.
Quickly add, George, I'm very sorry to cut you here. Just to quickly add, why did he decide? I believe that why did he decide to make that video? I believe that he feared that if there is any ambiguity left, or if there is any confusion left about those people, and he does not clearly state those names anywhere, so the journalists or the community who has always been against him would be spinning his words after, God forbid, he is not in this world. So he to give the clarity, to avoid any confusions after him, that is also a reason that he wanted to put everything on the record. And that is why he named everybody in that video, whoever he feels that is involved.
Yes, as I say, it's a sword of Damocles over the people who are to be named in it, if God forbid we ever see it. And we must hope that we don't. Everyone must hope that we don't. But it's not just the predictable, the usual suspects. I mean, anyone could predict that the Sharif brothers, the elder of whom is apparently governing your country from Mayfair, from a luxury property in Mayfair in London, right now, with his younger brother doing his bidding. These are all usual suspects. These are predictable. But Imran Khan seemed to imply foreign powers, foreign hands, who would be pulling the strings of these far more small fry. What did he mean by that?
He meant by those statements, when he was implying that a foreign conspiracy was working against him and his government, he meant the U.S. administration, the Biden administration, of course, because there are what we have seen is that when Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was hanged, that murder is now in Pakistan being called as judicial murder, and judiciary also calls it a judicial murder. That is because it was very controversial, and it was massively criticized at that time, and it is still criticized. So there are always the foreign powers. We have India. We have we have a lot of elements and a lot of powers working against Pakistan and against Pakistan's interest. And Imran Khan was probably, people consider him a very honest person. There are no charges against him of money laundering. He is not accused in any of such money laundering or tax evasion cases. He has declared his income. He was very honest. He is running, he's running a cancer hospital, which is treating patients. 70% of the patients are being treated free there without without paying anything. So he was the person who was an advocate of Islamophobia, and he was the person who was advocating the unity between Muslim states and Muslim Ummah. So these are the factors. These are the factors that why foreign powers like US might not be liking him. And people were questioning. In the beginning, there was a huge debate going on that there is no letter, or is there a letter? Was there a conspiracy, or was there not? Was there no conspiracy? So people couldn't even decide that what will you call a conspiracy and what will you not call a conspiracy. For example, if somebody is trespassing my property, if somebody is trespassing on my property, I would definitely not like it. If somebody would be seen trespassing on your property and peeping into your bedroom from the window, then that is problematic. So this is what happened in Pakistan also, that foreign powers were, yes, at work. And it was not people wrongly connect it with Imran Khan's visit to Russia, which I feel is not true. Imran Khan's, this entire conspiracy was working against Imran Khan since ever. And the first glimpse of it we saw when Nawaz Sharif, as you said, that he is a convict, he is an absconder according to the law of Pakistan, declared by the courts of Pakistan. He is governing. He is the de facto prime minister of the country. Let's put it that way. So the first glimpse of that conspiracy was when Nawaz Sharif was given a safe exit from the country based on his, health issues, which we cannot even spot. That we cannot say that person had a bad health issue.
No, I've been involved with Pakistan since the 1970s and until now, so that's a long time, long before you were born.
Yeah.
I have not got the highest regard for your colleagues in the Pakistan media. Some of them seem to think that we are living in 1982 or even 2002. They think that by blackout, they can stop the people of Pakistan from knowing what's happening in their country, even though millions of people already know that they were on these mammoth rallies held by Imran Khan. And now one of your journalistic colleagues has taken an important position in the absconder's government in Islamabad. This is the death of media in Pakistan, isn't it? If you are literally pretending that something isn't happening, when everybody in the country knows that it's happening, why will anyone trust you ever again?
Yes, so that is the reason basically why people do not trust Pakistan's media, especially the public within the country. They have this huge there is this huge trust deficit between the public, the viewers, and the journalistic community. And the reason being, I'll give you a very small example. Recently, something happened on Twitter, so I'll mention it for you here. That Hamid Mir, I'm sure you must have heard about him. So Hamid Mir tweeted a video. Actually, he tweeted. He sent out a tweet, and he asked people that he tagged Imran Khan, and he asked him that tell me. I would like you to tell me that who banned me when I was taken off air for the last 9 months in your tenure. So he was questioning Imran Khan that he should be telling Hamid Mir who took Hamid Mir off air for the last 9 months of Imran Khan's tenure. And so I posted a video in response to Hamid Mir's tweet, and the video was of Hamid Mir giving the reason that why and who basically took him off here. So Hamid Mir in that video says somebody was questioning Hamid Mir. So Hamid Mir explains that whoever it was who took me off air, it was certainly not Imran Khan. So journalists keep changing positions. They keep changing their stance. People have their, I'll say people do not trust them the way public should trust its media.
Finally, there are many questions I'd like to go into, but it might not be that helpful if I did, and you might not even be at liberty to answer me if I did. But I fought for the life of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in my small way in the 1970s. And I was, for more than 3 decades, a close friend of the late Benazir Bhutto. So I have the lowest possible opinion of the foolproof security to which you refer. I'm just wondering if Imran Khan should be hiring his own security. Because I'll tell you, if my life was at risk, I wouldn't place it in the hands of the institutions, particularly the security institutions that you have. Is there any possibility that he can do that? And if he can, should he?
Of course, there's no doubt about it that he should have his own security, and giving your life in hands of those who already want you eliminated from the entire political scenario of the country they want to rule is not wise. But there is another problem. I'll tell you what. We as journalists, we as the well-wishers of Imran Khan, or we as the well-wishers of Pakistan, and knowing how desperate he is to bring that desired change that we all need to see, that we all want to see in the country. So several journalists I personally know, I have conveyed to his team that he should at least wear this bulletproof jacket if he cannot have that bulletproof cubicle on the stage when he is addressing people in such rallies. His team, whenever and whoever suggests this thing to his team and to, convey the message to former Prime Minister Khan, they all say that he says, I cannot avoid death if it is written, and the time and the day is written already. I cannot avoid it. I have my, faith in Allah, and he is going to be my savior. And we all understand there is this faith that we all as Muslims have, that the time of death is written and you cannot change it. But then Allah also says that unless you leash your camel, I will not be able to help you, or I may not help you unless you leash your camel. Basically, that saying means that work for your own self, work for your safety, or work for your security, and then put your faith in me, and then I guarantee you that I will be helping you. So Imran Khan, in some there are things that Imran Khan cannot be convinced for, and security or bulletproof jacket or bulletproof cubicle is one of those things that he just wouldn't agree upon.
Shifa, thanks very much for joining us. God save Pakistan.